Books. Is this what we do?
This is what we do, apparently. This is book club. It's book club, right? It's Thursday morning. I know the time.
Regular scheduled programming.
Time is totally throwing me off, but welcome everyone to the Business Building Book Club. We are back. Yes, we have taken some time off, but oh my goodness, the transformations that have happened since we last talked to you guys. Incredible. So yeah, we are diving in to a new book. Thank you for those of you who have come along to the little teasers for today's book. But we are talking Cal Newport. So good, they can't ignore you. And this, I got feelings about this. But before we get into that, something magical happened in the book club. Something totally incredible happened in the book club, actually, where last week the book club united in person for the very first time. And I think it was a lot more, you know me and my woo-woo words, but it was a lot more powerful of an experience to see you guys in person. Like, I've hung out with Lefty before, but like to really unite the whole visibility hacking team in the same room was hilarious. So heck yeah. So let's say in 10 seconds or less, Lefty, tell us about your experience at your very first Funnel Hacking Live. 10 seconds or less. Go.
10 seconds or less. Game-changing, mind-blowing, powerful, must go, and I would do it again. I guess that's my wrap up. That's my wrap up. It's like, yeah, it was just, it was crazy. Like, it was so good. So good.
That's fantastic.
I got my little rookie badge.
And your options, not excuses. Heck yeah.
Yes, options, not excuses, of course.
So Funnel Hacking Live, one of my favorite things about the event, there's so much I love about the event, actually. But one of the things I really value that I want to bring to you guys here at Book Club is the number of free books that we get from incredible entrepreneurs in our space. And of course, I want to learn. I want to learn with you. And I also want to share this knowledge that's floating around in our community. It's so cool to put a book together. And I tell you this because I just finished writing mine, but it's something completely different to actually have people crack those books open, read through them, work through them, and implement what you've put together. So from Funnel Hacking Live, I have the official stack, okay? Some of these we are going to read on Book Club. So you guys listening, whether you're live or on the replay, I want you to let me know which of these books you are keen to read, because I know us book clubbers are keen for it. Also, where is Jen this morning? Hello, girl. I miss you.
Yeah, hello. Jen.
Come on, Jen. All right. Let's get started with some of the books that we got from Funnel Hacking Live, just so you guys can give us your opinions on them. First and foremost, the one and only Pedro Adao Challenge Secrets. This, okay, look how short it is. It's so quick. It's so simple. Pedro is the master of challenges. So if you want to learn challenges, we can do this. We can probably do this in 1 week and implement the next week. So let me know if you want challenge secrets. #implement in the comments.
And fun fact, I might, well, there's some talks lingering around that Lefty's birthday challenge might be coming up. So hold on to your seat.
I like that. We also have a whole bunch of copies of Just Giver from Tim Shields, which is 10 failures to $10 million using the new dramatic demonstration formula. You know, in the visibility hacking world, we love dramatic demonstrations. So we got lots of copies of this one. If you want to read along with us and maybe get your own free copy. So let me know. Let's say giver, #giver in the comments.
#giver. I love it.
#giver. And then I am a sucker for a good hardcover book. I am also
Mm.
a sucker for anyone who's going to write a book that has to do with our psychology and how the psychology, what actually is happening in our brains and in our bodies, and how that relates and overlaps with the sales process, the marketing process, building our businesses, and all of that. And so clearly, I am slightly biased towards this book, but we have 10x is easier than 2x from Dan Sullivan. Oh yes,
Oh,
just saying, it's a hardcover.
I
Here's some
love it.
ASMR for you. But yeah, how world-class entrepreneurs achieve more by doing less. So heck yeah, I think I've sold that one enough. Hashtag 10x.
Hashtag
10x. All right, and then the final book that I think Lefty has a bias towards, but I also have a bias towards because it's beautiful. It's so well put together. This is Create, Don't Capture, the ultimate guide to being a successful content creator and making an impact with your message. Hello, does this not sound like it comes from the visibility hacking world? Does this not look like it comes from the visibility hacking world? You should see. It's like, yeah, if I wrote another book, this is what it would look like. If I had more time to do layout, this is what it would look like.
How to be an influential creator and make millions from your message.
Oh, so that one.
Sorry, Molly, and I love how there was like black and white. Like I thought that was super cool.
Collector editions. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So that's Eric Thane's book, which, yeah, I have a feeling we're just going to read all of these. But if you want to read this one first with us next in the book club, I want hashtag create in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. We'll put a poll together. We'll put it in the Facebook group. Let us know which ones you like. And hey, remember, we got free copies, so watch out. I might be sending you something.
Watch out. Ooh. I got a few people that I got to send copies to as well, so I'm really excited for this one.
All right, my friends. So let's move on from Funnel Hacking Live. I'm just going to place these back here. You guys let me know which books you want to read. But now it's time to talk about being so good they can't ignore you. So this is a book that Lefty suggested. This is a book that when I have feelings about. I wanted to throw this out the window. I wanted to set this on fire.
Really?
Yeah. You want to know why, Lefty?
Absolutely.
Let's crack this book open and start with the title of section 1, known as rule number 1. Don't follow your passion. This is where I light the book on fire.
Okay. I mean, I get it, but why?
You know me. I am deeply, deeply rooted in following passion. And so this book hooked me from the get-go. It changes, my opinion changes as I read. But what are your thoughts on following your passion, Lefty? Before we get into how he explains it, what are your thoughts on following your passions?
Well, in like the way I look at it is you can be passionate about what you do, but I don't think ever someone has ever paid you because you're passionate about what you do. Because people could be, I don't know. Okay, I'll just use what I do for an example. I can be super passionate about documentary filmmaking, but I could be the worst filmmaker. I could be so bad that I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to color grade. I don't know how to put music. I don't know how to do any of that. But I can also be passionate about documentary filmmaking and give you a Christopher Nolan type experience. So in the event that happens, it's really the skill that trumps the passion. just your passion shows up in your skill. So it's one of those like double-edged swords in my opinion, where I think like passion doesn't pay the bills, but at the same time, you still have to be passionate about what you do in order to pay the bills. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 So when I think about passion, I think about that as being the underlaying foundation that motivates us. And
Right.
when I think about passion, I think of it completely separate from talent and skill. I see it in the realm of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And so this is kind of neat that he's challenging me in that to bridge that gap between it, because yeah, you can be, as you said, you can be super passionate about producing documentary films, but if you like barely know how to edit things and you just throw a couple clips together, then it's not really going to produce the same. But if you didn't have that passion in the first place, you might not continue to evolve that skill and to be able to learn the tangential skills that you need in order to create a true documentary. Like I find that passion is what keeps us going down the rabbit hole and continuing to learn and continuing to push through when we face challenges that we weren't expecting.
Yeah,
but because I see it that way, it's completely separate than the actual skills itself. And so that's what he's trying to get us to think about, which is cool.
Yeah, and like for me too, it's like I also look at like passion from like an interest standpoint, right? Like I'm passionate about wrestling. I'm not going to go and become a wrestler, right?
Aww.
I know, even though I have the physique for it, but like the point is that like that's kind of how I look at it as well. It's like I look at it from like things that you could just be like interested in. Like people could be interested in I don't know, donating to a cause, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to drop everything that they're doing to go start a nonprofit organization. Although that would be really cool, but the majority of people just won't do that. So that's kind of how that's how I like bridge the two together.
Neat. So chapter 1, we start off by talking about the passion of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
So he talks about the passion hypothesis. We've got to find what we love. But then we also have to tap into the skills that brings. So the key to occupational happiness, first key that we have to talk about, he is very specifically discussing occupational happiness. That was a frame that I needed to really keep in mind while I'm working through this book. It's not about feeling fulfilled in your personal life. It's not about finding that right partner. It's not about your legacy. This is very specifically talking about feeling fulfilled and feeling that sense of happiness in your work life. So that is a restriction I needed to pay attention to. So the key to occupational happiness is to first figure out what you're passionate about and then find a job that matches the passion. So here's my question for you, Lefty, and for you guys watching as well. Robert, chime in the chat here. I'm so curious. If you start from a place of passion, let's think about who we were when we were in our teens or our early 20s, and the world was so bright and exciting and we were looking at all of these possibilities, right? If we step back into that space and we're steeped in passion, do we feel like finding a career that matches that passion is going to burn us out, is going to, kind of stifle or snuff out that passion? Because we always put it into the grind. Or do we feel like that is the right advice?
Well, the thing is, and Alex Hormozi said this like very well, and I'm not going to like say it word for word because I don't remember exactly word for word, but he essentially mentions like, your friends come and blast you with ideas. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I gotta go do this now. Oh, okay, I gotta do that now. So I feel like it's one of those things where I think people think they're passionate about something, and then they realize a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, like, oh, I didn't really want to do that. Just like one thing that I always used to say when I was grinding away at the clubs and I was putting in the hours to stay till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning just to speak to that one DJ or just to speak to that one nightclub promoter. And then people were wondering how I was getting all this success and all that. And it was because I did that hard work to want to meet the right people. And it goes with saying people like the idea of being famous and rich rather than actually being famous and rich. So it's the same thing in this situation, is that people think they're passionate about something, but if the idea was planted in your head by somebody else, that is technically somebody else's idea for you. And then that's why I feel like people don't last more than 12 months or 24 months, or sometimes they put themselves in such a rabbit hole that they're 30, 40 years trapped in a job that they absolutely hate.
Yeah. 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 I feel that. I feel that. And I think Robert feels that. Yeah. Oh, there has been times, I will admit, that I have picked up hobbies or interests based on watching other people do things.
Nice.
And yeah, when I reflect back on it, I'm like, wow, that seed was planted by someone else. And if I hadn't have watered it and nurtured it with my own sense of passion, maybe I would have been burnt out on it for sure. So there's this advice that floats around in the entrepreneur space, like when you're just getting started and you're finding what you want to do. There's this advice that I'd love your opinion on. So people say not to create a business around your passion, because you'll slowly start to not be passionate about it anymore. It'll slowly become, or sometimes very quickly become, just a grind again. I see this with a lot of product sellers that I work with. They're really passionate about creating handmade crafts, for example. And then once the business really picks up, it becomes all that they do. And no longer is it their fun and their passionate thing to do. It now becomes their everything. It now becomes the work that they have to put in. What are your thoughts on that?
Ask the question again one more time.
So I just thinking, because you do documentary films and you are incredibly passionate about it, but creating a film is an intense amount of work. And there's this advice going around that we shouldn't create businesses around our passions, because then it's going to become work. It's going to become monotonous. Going to become the thing that drains our energy eventually. It's no longer going to be an outlet for our passion, right? So what do you think about that?
Yeah, actually that's great that you bring that up, because although I want to say I was exceptionally well at them, other people might think like, oh, you were such a you were such a godsend, or whatever praises that people say. But that's kind of how I felt about video sales letters. I said it. But that's kind of how I felt about when I was doing VSLs. Like they're fun, they're enjoyable. I still have to do them for myself, and I enjoy doing them when I have to do them. And it's not that I didn't enjoy them. It's not that I didn't enjoy them when I was doing it for other people, but it came to a point where, again, it was somebody else planting that seed for me. And then as I was doing it, I started realizing that, like, oh no, we're not like, this is now becoming more of a chore, right? And I get it. Like, people's jobs aren't always perfect. I mean, I just sat for 48 hours and I'm still searching for the perfect soundtrack for one of the documentaries I shot last week. Like, it is very like to think that, like, you know, like, because I get it all the time, like, oh, you're a documentary filmmaker, you probably have like such an amazing job and da da da, and then you see me sitting there like next, right? So maybe I'm just super picky and I probably found my track like 10 hours ago. But point is that yeah, like I guess it's I don't know, it's like it's inevitable, like especially if like you're in if you're doing something that you love or if you're doing something that you don't love, there's always going to be those questioning periods, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether you love it or not.
No pun intended, Canada. Questioning periods. But like there's always going to be like those questioning periods where it's like, do I actually really love doing this or do I not? And like and I think that's a beautiful sweet spot, because then you can, at that point, this is where now you get to really pick and choose, like where, like which tasks do I want to delegate? Because
yeah,
for me, I love the overall experience, being on set, uh, directing, producing. I love all that. I still love editing, and as much as I do being on set, but there are times where I do hire uh, other editors within my documentary filmmaking circle. So yeah, you get to a point where I guess like you delegate the tasks that you just wouldn't say aren't passionate about anymore, but allow you to continue the workflow process, and kind of just like get quicker with what you do and still do remain to do the things that you love. Like I came into it, and I'm going to cut this off here, but I came into this world just as a camera operator, and then I learned all these other skills, which, you know, at that point I had to learn how to edit because I was a one-man show. And now I take more of a director, executive producer role. And and I think like, even though I do take care of the overall picture, that's where my shining light is right now.
Yeah, I was talking to a dear friend who runs an agency, but is also building out like a course and a coaching program, which is more of the passion project. The impact project is on that side. And it was so interesting to have this conversation and see them battling between how do I do both? But it was once they realized, like, no, I can delegate off half of that stuff. I can delegate off the money making to another section of the team so I can focus on the impact making, which I think is kind of neat, because once you realize not only is there passion, but then there's skill behind it, everything kind of takes off. So I want to come back to like that motivation behind passion, because Robert brings up a point that reminds me so much of myself. Nights where you're sitting outside of the gym, or I go early morning, that you're sitting there. I'm sitting in my car. It's freezing cold. It's like just before 5 a.m. I'm right outside of my gym, and I'm just waiting for the doors to open. But I'm like, secretly, I have that voice in the back of my head that's like, please don't open today. Please don't open today. Maybe I need that excuse, you know? I feel this so much, but really it's those factors are not going to stop you from taking action. Like, they're going to open the gym. They're here. The lights are on. The path has been plowed. Like, get out of my car, go in and just do it. So Robert, thank you for that reminder of those little moments that drive us forward. When we have that passion, it might not show up. It might not be something that makes everything easy for us. There might be days that are a bit harder, and I love it.
Yeah.
And Shri, hello, my dear. Shri says, focus on what you love and build a team to take care of the things you hate or take away from building your business, which I love. And yes, check the book. Great book.
Yeah.
Great
But,
book.
and Robert, if you just don't want to leave your house, I mean, you could do what I do. And right behind me, I have a full training Bowflex behind me because when I'm lazy and I don't want to leave the house, at least I know I can still get my reps in.
But are you working as hard when you're in the house as you would have if you had stepped into the gym? We're totally tangenting right now, but bring it on.
Yeah, I want to say I do, because like at the end of the day, when I'm at the gym, I'm there to work out, and whether I can, let's say, lift 100 pounds or lift 50 pounds, I'm not there to. I'm not there to, I guess, show off my skills, if you want to call it, to other people around me. I'm not there for that. So yeah, I'm going to do the same exact workout as I would at home. Okay, mind you, obviously I'm limited with potentially certain things that I can do because of, one thing is with cables, and I'm stuck doing a specific type of routine and exercise where I have dumbbells and all this other stuff at the gym. But yeah, I still push myself as hard, which brings me to this in the book on page 12. The key thing is to force yourself through the work, force the skills to come. That's the hardest phase.
Oh, tell me more.
So let's continue.
What page are we on?
This is page 12 now.
We're really into this book. I love it.
Noticing the stricken faces of his interviewers who were perhaps hoping to hear something more uplifting than work is hard, so suck it up, Glass continues. I feel like your problem is that you're trying to judge all things in the abstract before you do them. That's your tragic mistake.
Ooh.
What do you think about that, Molly?
Well, it says here on the next page, compelling careers often have complex origins that reject the simple idea that all you have to do is follow your passion. Heck yeah. And I think it speaks to the same thing, in a more to the point, in your face, brutal-esque kind of way of passion will motivate you, but it's not going to lead you to success. Not saying it's going to lead you off the path, but it's not the compass you need to be following. You need to be following the skills. You need to be paying attention to what's around you, and you need to embrace the fact that work sucks, but you got to do it.
And it says it right here on page 15. A job is a way to pay the bills. A career is a path toward increasingly better work. And a calling is work that's an important part of your life and a vital part of your identity.
Ooh! Say that again.
A job is a way to pay the bills. A career is a path toward increasingly better work. And a calling is work that's an important part of your life and a vital part of your identity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Heck yes.
Which means you are your calling. You, whatever it is that you're doing, documentary filmmaking, social media managing, funnel building, life coaching, business coaching, fitness coaching, whatever job that you have, or well, let's not call it a job, whatever calling you have, you do it because like it's engulfed in you, like you are that thing.
And when you speak about having a calling rather than a career or a job, we also speak to how we deal with failure and how we deal with challenge. Because when it's your calling, that's an identity thing. And your identity stays with you regardless if the project you're working on worked or not, right?
Correct.
And so that's a beautiful way to do it. Ooh, I'm getting chills. Right? I'm getting chills.
That's huge. That's huge.
Oh, I love this. Robert says being the best version of Robert is his calling. Oh, Robert, tell me more what that looks like. I'm curious. Oh, man. I'm like pumped up now to like do things that I'm passionate about. And I wanted to set this book on fire.
And we're only like
Shree
15
says, your
pages in.
calling will remind you why you are doing what you're doing when life hits you hard. Heck yes. And it's also like when you tap into your calling rather than your job or something you like doing, when you tap into your calling, it's kind of like, I'm going to say woo woo things, watch out, woo woo alert. But it's kind of like the universe opens for you. You don't have to have this set out plan when you're like, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm passionate about. This is my calling. You'll start to collect the right people around you. The kinds of connections you never thought possible will start to open up in front of you, because when you stay true to that calling, when you stay true in alignment with your identity and your actions, everything changes. So much so that Lefty just dipped. All right, so I think this book is pretty cool. So let me get into some more of these quotes that I am into. So we were on 13. There's some cool conclusions in this first chapter. So conclusion number 1 is career passions are rare. We've talked about this already, is once we have a career is just a ladder to better jobs transaction, but a passion and an identity, that's where everything changes. So yeah, of course, your career passions are going to be rare. That's for sure. There are very few people who are so driven by being on that ladder. I mean, I know people who are driven to be the beginning part of that ladder, but eventually it dies off because they're trying to fit into a mold of what someone else expects of them. And that kind of dulls your edges. That kind of takes away those tangents. And I know one of my incredible mentors, Mark Stern, he used to work in corporate America, and he was really good at it. And then and one of the reasons he left was because, well, when you work in corporate America, regardless if you think you work 9 to 5, anything you create is owned by them. So he couldn't go off and have this side project and create an incredible business that is based on his passion path. No, he had to completely cut ties because they were trying to take control over who he was and what he was doing and the direction that his passion was going. And so he pushes that aside. He says goodbye, and he then can follow his passion and create something that's amazing and has changed so many people's lives and businesses. So shout outs to Mark on that one. I think, Lefty, you agree that career passions are rare. Yeah?
Oh, absolutely. And when you do find one, I would just highly recommend sticking to it. Like if you feel like you have something within, the corporate America space, then that would be amazing. I mean, do it up. Like I remember having this conversation with my brother the other day because he's been in like he's been in logistics for I want to say like a decade now, and he's brought himself to the point where he makes well over 6 figures. But it was interesting because I was like, dude, like, why don't you help build people's teams? And you could probably, charge anywhere from like, maybe like 10 to 50K like per corporation that you help based on size. And his answer to me was like, no, I like where I am. That just sounds like too much work and I don't want to deal with it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like him to do something for that many years and still enjoy it and love it, but he just doesn't want the headaches that come with entrepreneurship. Although he knows in his back pocket, he has myself and all my other colleagues who would easily help him like get an even further head start than somebody who doesn't have those resources. He's just like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm going to stay here in my cushy job because I know that I'm essentially untouchable now because of my status. So why would I leave?
Yeah. Yeah, I know so many people who have like gotten in those first few jobs that pay them kind of well compared to what they were working if they were just hustling part-time or something, and then they get comfortable and they stay for years and years and years, and you're like, all of these passions, like my brother, my best friend, like all of these beautiful passions he has around music and creating and art and history and all of this stuff is just, it's just a little hobby on the side because he works some like regular 9 to 5 boring corporate kind of
Yeah.
job, and I worry about people that it's going to dull their shine, because I want more people in the world like Robert here. Robert wants to be a person that gets people smiling and feeling a bit better about themselves, and very effective antidepressant. I completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, man,
Um,
that's
and
awesome.
it's that kind of drive to do better, to be passionate, that I guess according to this book, I'm going to now call that your calling. From what I would say is what drives you is your passion, I am now evolving because of this book. It is so
Yeah.
much more.
And then
More than
they
that.
dive a little deeper from like the craftsman mindset and the passion mindset. Did you get to that point? You're muted.
Oh, I'm muting. I'm coughing so much.
Oh,
So conclusion number 2 is passion takes time, and I think we can both agree with that. Um,
yes.
Passion is a side effect of mastery. This I find interesting because as those of you who don't know, I work a lot with kids. I do a lot of teaching with kids, and one of my core principles is mastery and giving them the opportunity to master these new skills that they're building. Trick is this actually works on adults even better than it works on kids. When you give yourself that space of passion, let's use a really easy kids example here. You really like basketball. You're really interested in basketball. So you come to my basketball class and I allow you the space to master these individual skills in class. Well,
Yeah.
that's fantastic, because when you leave class and you get to go play basketball with your friends, now you're able to level up with that passion. You're able to do something more effective with that passion. It's not just, I like basketball now. It's now I can implement it. Now I can do something with it. So when you come back to my class next year, we're growing on those skills. We're evolving those skills. You're taking your passion from a general curiosity and interest through mastery to something you can really, really change the world with. Whether that's being the best basketball player in the world or just being active for the rest of your life. But I think mastery is such a beautiful skill. And the word mastery gives us permission to fail. It gives us the ability to try things that don't work so we can figure out what does. What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
I mean, yeah, like you mentioned it, right? Like it says here in chapter 3, at the top of chapter 3, like passion is dangerous, right? Uh, it in which I argue that subscribing to the passion hypothesis can make you less happy. And you say it like you gave the basketball reference, right? Like you have a kid who's passionate about basketball, so they're going to want to go out, they're going to want to play with their friends and whatever. And where I agree with this about passion is dangerous is the fact that a lot of the times people that follow their passion
Mhm.
end up having a rude awakening because
Mm.
sometimes it doesn't work out. Maybe you have parents with a poor mindset. Maybe you
Mhm.
have colleagues with poor mindsets. Maybe like I want to I sometimes want to say that not to necessarily say like the world is out to get you or the world is against you, but
Mhm.
in the end, the world is built around a system that is out to get you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of like you gotta hang out with specific people. You gotta associate yourself with certain people that break that typical conformity, right? And then that's where you really do shine. The kid who's passionate about basketball didn't become the next Michael Jordan because of passion. He became the next Michael Jordan because of skill, because his passion, led him to be outside 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, just shooting hoops, doing tricks, probably, I don't know, depending on how far he wants to take it, maybe he sets up a little obstacle course for him, right?
Yeah.
But or her, obviously, there's awesome women basketball players too. Let's not discredit them. And and then when you do become to that master status, and again, like I'll even even with basketball, right? Like Michael Jordan didn't just go out on the court and he's like, I'm going to run the same play every single day, every single time that I go on the court. No, he's going to try different things live in person and then be like, crap, that didn't work. Right? Or like, holy crap, I can't believe I pulled that off. Right? And then he's going to do it again and again and again and again. Like even me, I'm always looking for the perfect shot. Does the perfect shot necessarily exist? Probably not. But it allows me to be experimental. And I also thank my clients that allow me to be experimental, that sometimes might give them that incredible wow factor, or they can just turn around and be like, Lefty, let's set this one out. Maybe not for this project. But at the end of the day, that getting to that mastery level allows you to create things within your realm and be open-minded and push boundaries. And then people naturally want to see you try things. Like even if the outcome was negative, they just want, like, people are gravitated towards people that just be like, like Molly tried to like pole jump like a 20-foot wall. She didn't make it, but like I give her so much credit for trying. You know what I mean? Like maybe next time, maybe she has to try with a 15-foot wall first. So it's like, and then when you actually do create that video, for example, and you're like, well, the 20-foot wall didn't work, so I'm going to go for the 15-foot wall. We're all there waiting because we want to see you jump that wall, right? And I think that's what mastery allows us to do.
I love that. I love that so much. And this is Robert, you're like my new best friend. Okay. So Robert says, I discovered that so we were talking about how Robert is an amazing person and he's bringing that to others, right? Oh, I love it. I need more people like that in the world. So he says, I discovered that this is one of the things that boom is made of. And then he asks us, so what is our boom made out of? Ooh,
go first, Molly, because I just finished speaking.
Well, I'm thinking the idea, just hearing what you're saying, listening or reflecting on what we've been reading, reflecting on all these things that have been happening in the last couple of weeks, is passion is like a match. Okay.
Yeah.
It can get real hot real fast. It can burn out really fast. But if you nurture it appropriately, you can lead that match, that flame from your match, to a candle. That's going to keep going a little bit longer. And then when that candle starts to burn out, you can light the next candle. And when you're at a space where you can light multiple people's candles at the same time, it all came from that original spark of passion. But if you didn't nurture it appropriately, if you didn't lean into finding your path towards mastery, if you allowed imposter syndrome, you allowed those voices in your head to say you're too this or you're not enough this, then you're never going to get to that spot. You're just going to be flicking matches like a kid playing it behind a dumpster, right? Like I think that's so neat. And then to think with what Robert's saying is, like, how do you define that into your boom, your moment of changing the world in a way that's meaningful? It's not just, I really enjoy Pokemon cards, man. Like, I love Pokemon cards. Don't send me Pokemon cards. It's like,
I'll take
so
them all.
interesting.
I'll take them.
And then Robert says, learning how to turn your passion into a burning desire. That's true. It's not just something that passively happens where you're like, oh, I really like Pokemon cards. Oh, but to turn it into something that you're like, wait, Pokemon cards are the vehicle that can change the world in this way for this group of people. And I am going to follow through on making that happen. That burning desire keeps going no matter what. And I love the idea, like the image of turning your passion into that burning desire, where if we think that becomes our identity, we're literally burning through the challenges in front of us. We're really pushing those things aside. We're clear cutting straight towards the change that we want to bring, whether that's more income, more impact, more connection, whatever it is for your business. And I think that's so cool. Like, I'm like fired up. I hated this book from the first freaking page. And now by the end of chapter 3, I'm like, let's freaking go.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So I guess for me to answer the question is, in elementary school and like maybe just a little bit of high school, like maybe like grade 9, a little bit of grade 10. I was like I wouldn't say like severely bullied, but like I was bullied. I was the fat kid. I was kind of like the ugly duckling, like, you know what I mean? I was just one of those kids, right? And I guess like, and then it was around when I was in grade 9, so like I was like 14, 15 years old when I discovered DJing. But like 2 years prior is when I discovered house music. And I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to like be a DJ. I thought it was really, really cool. And you know, as I started getting like more popular through DJing, I would, you know, have photos taken of me. I would have videos of my shows and all that stuff. And when I would see my materials come back, it was one of those like, whoa, like I look like that? Like this is how I look when I perform? And they were like, yeah, man, that's you. Like that's you. And I think, excuse me, I think the DJing really came forth with me because I was able to build a character, a persona that wasn't me, wasn't the lefty that was getting bullied and wasn't always like the popular kid, right? Yeah. So DJing was like that outlet for me that allowed me to like create a cool kid, create the popular kid that literally gave 0 F's, that it doesn't matter if you were a guy or a girl, you wanted to be around me. I put on this like cocky persona when I was on stage and I was performing, still friendly with everybody. If you came up to me and wanted to talk to me, take a picture, whatever the case might be, I was always open to that. But that's where it led me to. It led me to a different side of me, right? Yeah. And when I got my materials back, and then when I started getting into photography and filmmaking and all that, my desire came from the bullying, because it was like, wow, if I feel the way I feel right now getting my photos and videos back, I want everybody to feel the way that I feel in that exact moment. Yeah. So that's why I got into photography and videography and filmmaking. And it was mainly because I wanted to create this world so you can see yourself in a light that you've never probably seen yourself in before. And that's where my passion and my skill set came from.
I love that. I love that. It's like you show a mirror to your clients when you have that ability to show them like, I see in you something so great, something so much potential. Let me just shine that mirror so you can see it for yourself, which is so neat, because imposter syndrome is big, and we can drive into something totally fueled by passion, and then the second we hit a roadblock, or the second someone makes that comment that isn't totally in support of us, that critical comment that is coming from their place of insecurity, but
Right.
we're allowing it to break into our armor. That's when, if you're just fueled by passion, things are going to crumble. Because if we look back into like occupational happiness, we look back into the core of what this book is talking about, it's not just about passion. It's about having the skill set that's really going to wow people, that's going to set you up and above, that's going to make you so good they can't ignore you.
That's it. That's it.
But that comes from having a level of grit that pushes you through those challenges, invites you to think creatively and look for solutions and look for ways that you can build more skill sets, you can grow your skill set, your network, all of that kind of stuff. Ooh, I love it. I'm fired up, and I could honestly talk for another like hour about this, but we have to wrap up today's episode because I got to get back to reading. Next week, we're going to dive into section 2. Let me pull up my table of contents. We're going to go to rule number 2, which is be so good they can't ignore you, or the importance of skill. Today was so steeped in passion. Tomorrow we're going to talk, or next week we're going to talk about that transition into focusing on skill. So we got a bunch of chapters to read, but if you want to join us, why not scan that QR code that's underneath Lefty. It'll bring you over so you can check out the whole playlist for all of our book club episodes. You can check up on our previous books that we read through and more. Don't forget to join us in the Visibility Hackers Facebook group, where we're going to continue this conversation. And don't forget, I'm also putting up the poll in the group so you can help us pick what book we're going to dive into from Funnel Hacking Live. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
And
then I might. I
have a copy of this that we read recently that I want to give away to somebody special. So this was an awesome read. Short, again. Large,
so impactful though.
Large font, which is
Lefty approved.
Lefty approved. And there's a ton of pictures because Lefty likes picture books. So, and I believe on the list, we are going to be also reading the Brand Gap's counterpart, which is the Brand Flip. So that's on the list, yes, for 2024. So get ready, get familiarized, because we are going to be, there's a lot of books that have counterparts. You want to essentially read them all. It's like Pokemon. We got to read them all, catch them all.
Well, I have a surprise, everyone. I have a surprise that weighs a lot.
Are you opening up this right now?
I'm going to open it right now. It right now. So, as you all have been following along for a while, I've had it on my goals board for the last couple years to write a book. I've written many books before, but I haven't really stepped into writing anything in this world that I have found myself in. So last year I got super sick, so that's why it was on my board last year and this year. But thanks to Mark and to Lefty and to my other incredible mentors, to Jim in the visibility hacking world, to Jay Lee, to all of you guys, I have finally not only written the book, done all the layout, gotten a kick-ass cover, but it's done. It's real. It's physical. Did a brand shoot over with our fantastic photographer, Amber Larkin, when we were in Florida. So you're going to see some awesome photos coming out. Mark Douglas has the first official printed copy of the book. So check out his profile because I'm sure he's going to be dropping some great promo stuff for it. And you can get your copy on Amazon. Ha ha ha! The brand code. So here's the thing. I am also building out a workbook for this, and I want to give you guys the workbook absolutely free. So let me know if no. I'm not asking for your opinion. We're going to read sections of the brand code. If you follow along during those episodes of book club, I will get you the workbook, the digital copy, absolutely free. But yeah, this is so exciting. We're talking about different archetypes for your brands. So you can understand what your brand personality is and what that should look like in the way that you communicate with people. It's all based on a personality test for your brand. So you're not trying to create a persona and a brand persona that doesn't fit, right? If we're talking about passion, we want that passion to fuel us through our brand. We want that authenticity, right? Authenticity only comes, oh, look at that. Authenticity only comes when we have that connection, when it makes sense to us, when it doesn't feel icky, it doesn't feel put on. And so that's what the brand code is all about. And because I love you guys so much and you guys have fueled me in writing this book, I spent a night up all night at Funnel Hacking Live and I wrote another book. So you're going to have to stick around because 2024, I got a whole new section of books for you guys. So thank you guys for supporting us, and definitely see us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7:30 a.m. I will be awake. I slept through my alarm this morning.
I think we're still here. Crashing.
we're still figuring it out.
We're still figuring out the Funnel Hacking Live burnout, which is very real.
Very, very real. It usually takes me like 2 weeks. I'm taking next week off so I can relax. You will get Molly from the lake kind of. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
And to everybody watching, I know you probably think we're a bunch of weirdos, but happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Because yes, we do Thanksgiving in October when it's actually fall.
When it's beautiful. When it's beautiful.
And orange and red and yellow.
So how about this? In the inspiration of Thanksgiving, let's close out with one thing that you are grateful for, Lefty.
I am. Oh man, there's so many things I'm grateful for. I'm first of all, and this one goes out to everybody, but I think right now I am most grateful for the opportunity to have gone to Funnel Hacking Live. If it wasn't for yourself helping me with that funnel and my community jumping in and getting VSLs from me, Sharon, Mark, Joanna, and there's a few other people there too. Jet, Bridget, Casper. Oh man, the list goes on. I probably wouldn't have gone. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. You guys allowed me the opportunity to have an experience that I probably would have not had the experience to do this year. And you just allowed me to not only go, but change my mindset, get me in front of people that, not to say I would have never gone in front of on my own, but it would have taken that much longer to do. Yeah. So it means a lot more to me than you think. So that's what I'm grateful for and thankful for.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I will follow on that with another FHL piece of gratitude. I made so many new connections to people who gave me the biggest mindset shift, direction shift, and passion check. I had some hard conversations with some of my mentors, new mentors and old mentors, where it was like, Well, one of my mentors pretty much threw a glass of ice water on me, not literally, but very figuratively, of a like huge slap in the face, a reality check of I was going down a road that was leading to not being passionate, leading to very much burnout, leading to subpar work, because it was very obvious that I was checked out in some ways. And so I am so grateful for the one-on-one conversations I've had over the past 2 weeks that have completely changed everything. So
yeah, I hear you.
Those of you who were involved in those conversations, you know who you are. And I hold those so dear to my heart. And then also on a less like deep note, so grateful to have gotten the funnel or the visibility hacking team together in person. Like, we literally have photos of all of us together.
I can't wait to see that.
I'm so excited. So the second I get our new photos from our incredible photographer Amber Larkin, I will be posting them all over the place, because man, when you get like Jim, Lefty, and I, and then throw some Mark in there in the same room together, whoo! Watch out! Watch out!
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see those solos and like even all the hair ones and us on the table. And
yeah. There was, we had fun. We had a lot of eyeballs on us. It was great.
Yes, we did.
All right. So that is it for today's episode of the Business Building Book Club. Thank you all so much for joining. Make sure you scan the QR code, check out all of our previous episodes, join us in the Facebook group, come hang out on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel, go check out Create with Lefty, because we already got him to FHL. And next week, my friends, join us. Hopefully we'll have Mark back with proper signal, and we'll be diving into rule or section number 2 of this book. So until then, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. May you be filled with gratitude between Canadian Thanksgiving and American Thanksgiving. Let's just make that the season of gratitude. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you to the end of the world. Be excellent to each other.